Hello everybody, it's Wednesday and we're on to another letter of the alphabet. This time it's the letter P. So far this week we have wrapped up Luke's story and now we're going to be wrapping up the story of the tree. The next few parts will focus a lot more on things like Solona, who you met in the last part, as well as the future of the colony. But for this part, now they're looking at the tree and they need to figure out what's going on. What the heck is going on with this tree? Now the letter P stands for, in this case, the Palaeobotanist. Now you can guess what they're going to be looking at. Some old stuff, right? Well, we'll find out. If you're confused about this video and wondering why you aren't seeing my regular booktube videos, well, I'm doing the A to Z challenge, and right now we're on the letter P. We're getting closer to the end, but if you haven't seen any of the previous parts, then you can go down to the description box below and find a link to the playlist. There'll also be a link to the playlist at the end of this video. The letter P stands for the Palaeobotanist. Ariadne, southeast of the cloud tree. 17th day, 2nd month, 2nd year after colonization, Ariadne era. John Thompson stood on a hill surrounded by a flat plain. To the northwest, he spotted the cloud tree, as everyone called it now. He thought it was an interesting name. It was probably the only tree in the world that had its own lenticular clouds. It was 20 kilometers away, but still stood prominently above everything on the plain. Next to him was Malika Said. He met her eyes, then looked down at the hill they were on. "Malika, do you know what you're standing on?" he asked. "I'm guessing it's more than just a hill," she said. "Of course. In fact, I found several of these hills arranged in a roughly straight line to the southeast," he pointed. "These hills rise from the plain about every 15 to 25 kilometers. It's kind of like a hotspot volcano. You have one big one at the leading edge, while each one trailing behind gets smaller and smaller. This is the biggest hill." "It has something to do with the cloud tree?" "Absolutely. I did some digging here and found the same material as the outer layer of the tree. The core of the trunk had decayed, so we know it's soft. But look over there, to the west." She looked in the direction he indicated. Small rounded hills and a few longer ones. "Could those be an old cloud tree?" "It's the remains of one, yes. Somehow it fell. There was a weakening at the base of the tree, which we are standing on right now. It appears that over time, the natural concrete weakens, and something like a strong storm could knock it down. But what I found interesting is that the ages of all these hills are roughly every 30,000 years. So the trees live 30,000 years and somehow release a seed which drifts in the wind toward the northwest?" John nodded. "It appears so. While the cloud trees are male, they may spontaneously change to a female at the end of their lives and send off a seed to grow another male tree." "Were they solitary?" asked Malika. Yes, only one alive at a time. It's imperative that we protect the tree. Our opposition has lost his drive to use the wood, I'm happy to say," she said and smiled. So we finally have a conclusion about this tree. We know exactly what it was. It's only one male tree at any time, and in the forest to the northwest, there are a bunch of female trees. It's kind of interesting that this tree has this sort of life cycle. And 30,000 years is a long time for a tree to live, I would say. And this makes you think about what other kinds of plants and as well as animals live on this planet. I haven't actually talked about the animals yet, and there are a few, of course, but I don't get into that during this story. However, I did mention feathergrass early on. It's kind of like grass, but it's feather-shaped. As for the characters, the Palaeobotanist is John Thompson. He's a minor character, so I don't know if he's going to appear in the book. But Malika Said, of course, returns, and she is the botanist. So we've got a paleobotanist and a regular botanist. After this part, we are skipping ahead a year, and these next few stories don't take place around this time. So this part of the story is basically over, and we are now moving on to a new part. And for that, we're going to be focusing a lot more on the development of the colony as well as Solona Night. And I hope you look forward to that. If you have any comments about this part of the story, then please leave them in the comment section below. And also, if you're interested in the previous parts, then go right up here. There's a link to the playlist. You can watch all the way from the letter A. Ugh, jeez. If you like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see some more of my writing as well as booktube videos, then please subscribe down below. Check out over there. Those are some videos you might find interesting. We'll see you in the next video, which is tomorrow, the letter Q, which should be interesting.